right, mics are up.
Well, the mics are up, so you've got audio. You're probably with the music. I'm not going to sing with the music. Really, folks, all four of you. It's really going to happen. It's really going to happen. There! It's really happening.
Okay, but I got music playing. All right, the music is off. We're live. Everyone should be able to hear us.
I'll just say it. Hey, Frank, can you hear us? Let us know on the chat. We're looking at the chat. We got my...
Just getting a few things set up. So what you're seeing is this is our new studio for going live. We've been working on it. I guess you could say we started this Friday.
Yeah, yesterday. We woke up yesterday morning and go, let's build a YouTube studio. Here it is.
But we won't tell them how many hours we spent.
Yeah, we won't tell them we spent from yesterday till today. I'm really sleepy.
And as I'm kind of getting things going, I want to bring the chat up so I can see what's what. By the way, I'm Jason, KM6FAK. This is Kevin.
N6VLF.
All right, so now I can see the chat and what's going on there. And we'll give you a little bit of a tour. So we've got a main camera pointed right at us. And then on camera 2, we have an overhead. And this is brand new in the box. Kevin got it for himself, and we're planning to open it and even and get it on the air. Matter of fact, we have another camera here, and that will kind of show you a little bit more of a mess. But we've got the power supply and coax running out the door, ready to go. Some of this magic here is a very nice switcher that I can just simply push buttons, and there we are. We're back.
Oh man, my hair's messed up. Oh jeez. Sorry guys.
All right, so thank you, Frank. He's letting us know it looks and sounds great.
All
yeah,
right.
We're just dialing in both lighting, video, and audio.
Yeah. So. We literally had nothing put together yesterday at oh my goodness, noon. At noon, we didn't have anything done, and I think Jason and I started working on the setup around 1 o'clock, and then we said, you know, we want to do a live stream for Ham Radio TV and just kind of let everybody know what's going on and give them a few kind of some teasers what's going to happen in the future, I guess. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So live is a lot of fun because you can interact with the hosts. It helps a lot for questions. I'm able to read the questions fairly real time and as they come in. And the question also is, you know, I've done live streaming a few times. We've done it a couple weeks ago for the field day. Yeah, the field day. And we definitely are aware that the video was extremely jerky. I'm guessing a lot of people, some person actually commented that he was trying to check his settings because he didn't understand what was going on with YouTube, because the audio comes out clear, but we update every 10 seconds or so. So we're trying to really dial it in. So feel free to give us any kind of comments, good or bad, constructive, of course. Let us know how the video.
I only want the good comments. Direct all the negative ones to Jason. He's much thicker skinned than I am.
Yeah, I'll take all that, but the technical goes to you.
Thank you. And yeah. And if I answer it wrong, I'm sorry. The thing about Field Day was great, by the way. We had a great turnout. We did do a Field Day live stream, and we just had difficulty with getting enough upload speed. We just couldn't do it for the video. Our video here, we're trying to give it to you guys in 1080i or 1080p actually, and we're trying to keep it all as high definition as we can. And in doing so, the connection that was provided for us out there at Field Day just couldn't handle it. So I guess we're kind of apologizing for that a little bit, but we're glad we got to do it. Heck, I appreciate everybody that hung with us for over an hour on that one, wasn't it, Jason? Yeah,
that was longer than expected, but
Yeah.
I think we were having so much fun.
Yeah,
And we were completely sober.
Yeah. There was none of that claymation jerkiness stuff was.
Yeah.
It was all. There was no alcohol involved whatsoever, and we were having a really good time. And by the way, all you guys and gals that showed up to Field Day and supported the Vacaville Radio Club at Field Day, thank you very much. We hope you had a great time. All the visitors that came, very, very appreciative that you took time out of your day to come hang out with us, and thank you for that. And we hope that we generated enough interest that y'all want to come and do it again next year.
Yeah, matter of fact, I spent a good portion this morning working on the video, and that'll be up and posted either tonight or tomorrow morning for everyone to watch. Just a short 10-minute. Me kind of building and going over the buddy pole and massworks that I got, as well as just kind of going through. I didn't do a whole lot of chatting with people. That's something I would like to do next year, but it'll give you a good idea of what our setup looked like and all the different antennas and stations that we had.
Right. So I'm curious about something. We're not monitoring our audio today directly. We're looking at the meters, and we're hoping we got it right. So let us. I'm really curious. Is our audio levels okay? Is Jason's voice and my voice a reasonable level? Are they reasonably matched? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And we're trying to do better than Field Day. Let's just say that.
Yes, absolutely. And I've got the computer here. I'm in the chat.
Who's on with us, man?
We've got a couple people. I can scroll up. Joe said hello to us right in the beginning. Frank, he's been goosing us on. Frank is a local club member, so expect to see all sorts of comments coming from Frank, but definitely a good guy. Another guy, FD Gunner, he called us the Rubber Chicken Factory.
The Rubber Chicken.
And I'll take it. And then we got Ray saying hi from Mississippi.
The Rubber Chicken Factory is open.
And FD Gunner says, audio sounds great, almost as good as my Texas audio.
Oh, Texas audio. Okay, well here, let me get my Texas.
I know who that is.
You know who that is?
I didn't know who that was at first. I'm like, Texas audio.
You think it's Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we know who FD Gunner is.
Yeah.
He's hiding behind a handle.
He's hiding behind that handle there, young man.
Yeah.
Well, here, let me use my Texas radio voice. Well, we're glad you're here watching us on Ham Radio TV. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, and I'll show you what I'm looking at. I think it's pretty neat what YouTube gives us. So I'm watching the chat. I'm able to see a lot of different numbers. We kind of know if we're doing bad because we get this cool little flow chart here. When it starts tanking, it's time to go.
The bad chart.
Yeah.
So keep watching. Keep watching.
All right. Well, very good.
So, hey, I want to know, FT Gunner, is it just you watching, or is this up at the at your place of work? Are those guys watching too? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Let me know. Let me know.
Hey, we got a question that came in, but
oh wait, I'm not ready for questions yet.
Yeah, we're gonna save the questions for the end.
No, I'm teasing.
We're gonna come back to you, Corey. Corey's got a good question about coax and the overall lifespan and what kind of conditions it'll live in.
Corey, it's 11 days. Your coax will last 11 days. That's it.
So we do. We have a small outline, and we're going to try to stick to it a little bit. So, anyways, another part for what we've built and put together is Kevin and I have additional ideas, and that kind of goes with who is Kevin and what Kevin does exactly. So I'll let Kevin kind of introduce himself.
Well, you already know my name, Kevin. My call's N6VLF, and I live in the Fairfield area in Solano County, California. And by day, I'm an audio-video contractor. I've been working on electronics for about the last 45 years. I've been troubleshooting to component level. I've run a full-blown repair shop, an installation shop, contracting shop, and also an AV production shop as well. Basically, we rent stuff.
And this is his website that I'm showing on the screen now.
Oh, thanks, Jason. That's part of our website. We offer a full range of audio related equipment. We're very heavy into audio and pretty getting into the video thing pretty heavy as well. We also do portable power distribution, stage lighting, cameras, video projectors. Like if somebody calls up and says, hey, we need 4 video projectors and 4 60-inch screens for a particular event and distribute the video, that's what we do. So, in a nutshell, I'm an AV audio guy by day, and I'm a wannabe radio guy at night. Ham radio has been a big part of my life for about the last 35 years, actually a little longer. I'm 58 years old, and I got my first amateur radio license when I was 14 and living at home with mom and dad. And my uncle, W6TQM, he's a silent key now, very instrumental in helping me with my amateur radio, as well as Jerry, W6YGY, who is also one of my Elmers, and he is also a silent key. So I have a lot of gratitude and thanks to a couple gentlemen that were great Elmers to me, and I really appreciate everything they did, and their families as well. Really helped me a lot with learning about electronics and getting a start. So there you have it. AV guy by day, wannabe radio guy at night. And what we try to do here at Ham Radio TV is we try to learn something, and then we try to do it, and then we try to share it with other people so they can have fun and do it themselves. Just so you know, folks, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say we're not the smartest guys around. Between the two of us, we're somewhere between 3/4 and 7/8 of a full person, and it's working out pretty well. And we just try to do the fun stuff. We're not going to get super crazy technical. We'll try to answer your questions. If you have questions that we cannot answer, we'll tell you, and we'll try to find it out for you. That's simple.
Yeah. So the next thing that we're also launching is we really think there's a lot of power in video live streaming, and for that matter, Ham Radio TV, it couldn't be as successful as it is. Not saying it's tremendously successful, but I feel like the quality is definitely there. We've gotten great compliments on it, and a lot of that comes from Kevin's just knowledge and experience with audio equipment. And with that, he has a fairly redone website, and we're really excited to do more with that. And when you sometimes buy stuff on Amazon, you don't know what you're getting, you don't know how to use it, and the idea would be is you would buy someone that's reputable, name brand stuff, and then a video to go along with it, a tutorial, how to use it. For instance, when I go to this angle here, there's a lot going on in this setup, and this could apply to a lot of different people, YouTubers, podcasters, churches. Yep. And so that's kind of where we put ourselves, is right in the middle of it, and it's all pretty new to us.
Yeah,
we've got a good idea, and now we're just trying to make it good quality.
Jason, earlier you said something about I think you were referring to some of the viewers were asking how did you get what you have now up so fast. Was that a question?
Yeah, it was in a previous intro channel video I did.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, with that, for myself, I've always kind of, I touched on the intro video, but into photography, into videography, but honestly, I was lacking audio for a long time, and that's, I met Kevin.
Audio is a big thing, but Jason is really good at the videography. The dude knows how to use a camera. He understands the computer side of it, and he's just all around really good social media person. Matter of fact, he is the social media guy pretty much for the W6VVR Amateur Radio Club, our Vaca Valley Amateur Radio Club that meets at the Nut Tree Airport the second Thursday of each month at 7 o'clock. And those of you who live in our area are absolutely welcome to come. You do not have to be a member. You can be a visitor. You can be a friend. Whatever you want to do, check it out if you're local. And if you're not local, we typically try to video most of the presentations and most of the relevant content at our meetings. And Jason, this guy right here, is the one that does it. So we've kind of teamed up to try to get this thing off the ground. And what we'll be doing in the near future, we're probably not going to do it tonight, but we're going to do some videos for Ham Radio TV for you guys and gals that are interested in putting your content up. We're going to show you some of the microphones, some of the mixers, the video switchers, and the software that we're using, which, by the way, is not exclusive to us. There's a lot of people using very similar pieces of equipment, and it's just the way we chose to do it, and we'll share that with you in the very near future.
Yeah, so, you know, like I said, I'll put it to, I've got to label the buttons. I'll put it to the computer, so look out in the next couple days, couple weeks. We'll be uploading more videos together, as well as other people that work for Ken's Pro Sound on his YouTube. They will also be available on his website. And so if you're into audio and you want to learn more, or if you just simply want to connect a nice boom mic to your ham radio, we can probably help you out with that, whether it's technical or products. All right, so.
All right. We're getting, well, my phone's blowing up. I've never been this popular, you know, not even with my family. So thank you. This is awesome. And something along those lines. Could you go to the wide shot?
Wide shot.
Yeah, that one. I'm going to reach over here and grab a couple devices and put them up on the top. We're going to touch on this stuff real quick. I promise you, sometime before midnight, we're going to do the box opening. And by the way, the Yaesu FTM-400, I don't know about Jason, but speaking for me, I've never hooked one up. I've never programmed one. I've seen one. I've talked to guys on them. So when we open this thing up a little bit and hook it up to the power supply, we also have an antenna that we already tested. We know that it works, and we're gonna learn about it together. And so if I make a mistake, email us, text us, send us all the hate mail. We'll deal with it. So what we're gonna do in the future, let's take a look at this guy right here. We'll go this view, and then we'll flip it around to here. This is a Rig Expert AA600. We're not going to talk about it much tonight, but we've done it at our meetings. And this is also a MFJ 269. And as most of you know, MFJ makes a multiple versions of these meters. So what we're going to do in the future, and give us some feedback about it, we're going to take this guy and not do a box opening, but we're going to show you on the channel some follow-up videos about some of the coax measurements we did and why we did it, and we're going to show you how to do it with this one here and the differences between the two, because the Rig Expert isn't for everybody and the 269 is not for everybody. By the way, they make a 269C and they make the 269C Pro, so we'll be talking about that stuff as well. And for those of you who watch some of our previous videos at the club meetings, they're just that. They're club meetings. So that's not scripted at all, like this is. And they're asking questions. It's interactive. So some of that stuff we're doing is real general information. And we got a couple of comments about some of the coax things. And I'll just go on record as saying, Yeah, you don't have to do it. We're just showing you an option. If you're going to take the time to build your own antenna, and you're already cutting your own coax, putting your own ends on, and you're either purchased or making your own bound because you want to, it's just an opportunity to learn what you could do with those materials and what the result could be. But as a few of the viewers indicated, you don't have to, but it might be fun to do and learn, and we're going to go into a little more detail about that a little bit later, but not today. And something else we're going to do in the channel is we're going to bring some, and I'm trying to get, and Jason, we're dragging him along too, kind of a swap meet junkie. So some of the stuff we get, you're going to see that we got it from the swap meet, and we're going to show it to you. Like we talk about the analyzers that we're I said that twice already, didn't I?
Wow.
I'm repeating myself.
The problem with live is I can't later cut it out.
You can't cut it out.
So you're on your own.
Man. All right.
All right.
Send hate mail to Jason. Anyways, we'll talk about swap meet buys and things like that later.
So let's get to the questions, and then we're going to do the unboxing.
We have to answer questions?
Well, yeah, the idea was
okay.
an AMA. Some people might have heard that term, Ask Me Anything, but there's more than just a me up here, so that's where the us came from. And the idea was you kind of learn a little bit more about Kevin. There's some videos about myself. My intro video, for instance, kind of gives a bit of my backstory, but feel free to ask anything today or tonight while we're on. I know it's a little bit later back east, and if you're across the pond, well, it's probably midnight or so, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, if we know the answer, we'll do our best to answer it, and if we don't know, we'll tell you.
All right. So a little bit ago, Corey asked, "What's the usable lifespan of coax under optimal conditions? LMR 400, for example." And I'm guessing, you know, it's being outside. It's ran,
right, you
know, with the weather or in the sun, and what have you.
You know what? It's, for me, I've and a few of my friends, we've bought LMR 400 cable, the branded LMR 400 from like Times Microwave, and then there's some of the I hate to use the word knockoff brands, but there are, and you look up the UV rating on them, see what it is, and I would safely say I've used that stuff outside for in excess of 10 years, and the stuff that was past 10 years old, sometimes it went longer, sometimes it didn't make it. It depends on if the somehow water migrated into the cable and contaminated it or something. We did on one of our cable demonstrations, I brought LMR 400 cable, I brought 213, I brought 214, and my 213 and 214 pieces were at least 5 or 10 years old, and we swept them on the analyzer, and from about 1 megahertz to up past 500, which is above the amateur radio 440 band, and they were great. And then we grabbed a piece that was over 10 years old, and it was a piece of 9913, and might have been LMR 400 as well, but it was old stuff, and it was kind of a trick because I knew the stuff was bad, and we measured it, and holy cow, it was absolutely horrible. The losses above 10 to 20 megahertz were just incredible. So maybe maybe they got contaminated with water, maybe wherever it was located before I got my hands on it, because it was all used cable, the sun just beat the life out of it. So in general, 10 years is kind of what my opinion, but I've seen it and heard about it lasting much longer. So I think a good idea is to check it out once in a while. Go do a visual inspection of it, and put a meter on your antenna system. Write down your measurements when it's brand new in a book. Keep them. And a couple years later, check it, see what it is, and make sure your antenna is in good condition, and compare your readings. And if something's way off, check your antenna. And the next question, is it my coax gone bad?
Yeah, definitely always a good idea to watch, you know, simple things like SWR as well.
Yeah.
When you operate, that could tell you a lot if something's going on. And, you know, if it's been 10 years and you haven't put an analyzer on your system,
you should do it.
Yeah, check out your impedance.
At least an SWR meter.
That's probably one of the best parts about being involved with the club is even if you don't have an analyzer, I bet someone does. Now, if you live out in Montana and the next person is an hour away, I suppose that might be hard. But
right.
You're probably doing other things than watching YouTube right now.
Yeah, and if you can't afford or don't want to afford an analyzer, you can buy a much more cost-effective device, and the SWR meter. Because if you check your SWR in the beginning of the installation when it's all new, and let's just say it's 1.5 to 1, as an example, and then as time goes on, you check it 3 years later, and now it's 2.5 to 1. Something changed, so you might, and that's when you're going to start investigating your antenna or your coax.
All right. Well, thank you, Corey, for that question.
Yep.
Another individual by the name of Jenny said, "Why don't you guys use turkey radios? Are those that's above my head. What's a turkey radio? Is that a CB?" Okay, so he knows it. What? We're in good balance.
You're killing me. Oh, apparently I have several family members watching the channel, so I'm not looking at the comments. Jason is. Is that my Jenny asking if we're using turkey radios?
Talia? Talea?
I don't know who that. I don't know who it is. Turkey radios. That's hilarious.
Anyways, that doesn't mean anything, does it?
I don't know what I don't know. Is it what radios you use to herd turkeys?
Oh yeah, I thought maybe it was a CB reference.
Turkey. I don't know what a turkey radio is.
Yeah. Joey in the chat asks, "What's your favorite part of the hobby? What do you find yourself doing the most? Example: FT8, CW, rag chewing."
You go ahead with that, dude.
So for me, I'm fairly new to the whole scene. Got the license in 2016. Really found out about ham radio in about 2007 or so, and got busy having kids and a career change, and so I didn't finish getting the license until 2016. That's when I started. Found the club, and the 2 meters stuff is great. There's a lot of radios, a lot of cheap radios you can definitely buy out there and enjoy fairly quickly. But the HF really started interesting me quite a bit, and I really encourage everyone that hasn't gotten a license or is they have their tech and they haven't quite yet upgraded to general. I'm a big cheerleader, if you will, for people to get their general, and that's just to allow them to get on HF. Plenty of apps, lots of ways to study. I just like to take the test a lot, and you kind of start remembering the answers a little bit. But HF is where the magic starts, and in the beginning I liked everything I had a chance for, and that's what I realized a lot of times is I didn't have a lot of time to jump on and chat with someone, and it can be hard to break in if you've got 2 OMs that sound like they know each other, and you might want to jump in, and I've jumped in. I'm just curious if I'm getting out or what have you, but after things are set up for a little bit while, that they can probably hear you, and maybe you might have something to add. But personally, what really got me going is contesting, and I discovered contesting probably this last winter a little bit. I did some videos on that. One of them's not up currently, but the idea of contesting is a lot of times it goes on for a day or two, and you can sit down at any moment and just jump in, and the bands are alive. You would think the bands were no longer dead during contest weekends. They're really great. And so for a young guy with kids and stuff to do around the house, I'll just sit down for half hour, an hour, grab a bunch of contacts, do something else with the family, come back, So I really enjoy contesting. It's a shame you don't talk more with each other. It's just a very quick exchange, and it can be a little daunting to hear the exchange. But a lot of times is you pick a strong signal. I like to sit there, understand the rhythm, how to break in, as well as just figure out what the format is. Every contest has a different format. Hopefully you got a computer in your shack so you can look it up, figure out what you need to say back to them. A lot of times it's a series number, so they might be the first person, so they're just number 1, and then we talk to someone else, it's a number 2. So I really enjoy contesting. I have dabbled in FT8 a little bit. That's almost like cheating. I think I raked up 50-some contacts one weekend, mowing the grass and doing the dishes. So in other words, I would go in the shack, which is in my garage, do a little bit of the computer. In other words, you can go after someone, search and pounce, or you can kind of run and call CQ, and then it just does it automatically through you, if you haven't checked out FT8. But it is pretty rewarding because I'm probably running about 75 watts with the Yaesu FTM-400XDR, and I am using this Apple. I'm an Apple guy. I know I could probably get a Windows computer cheaper, but anyways.
Yeah.
I got the radio. I got the Yaesu radio to work on this. I got WSJTX to work on this, and I use Rumlogger NG, which is free. And we just lost that camera because it's been a half hour. Let me. Let me finish my thought.
You finish your thought, and then I'll share a little bit, and then we got a camera that's giving us grief.
Yeah, the camera will go to sleep every 30 minutes. It's a Canon, and so it's a DSLR where you'll primarily take pictures with it, but also does video pretty good. And I thought I told it not to sleep, but I think it does this reset. It's not asleep, it just resets anyways. So, yeah, I enjoy contesting. FT8's pretty interesting. Oh, I was about to say, 75 watts, I'm into Ukraine. I'm into countries and areas that I've never been with FT8, and you can do it. A lot of times I run on 20 meters. You can do it all day long, around the clock. It doesn't matter what time it is. 20 meters, FT8's working, and that is, what is that, 14? I'm trying to remember the frequency offhand, but it's funny because you can always dial over there on your radio and you can hear FT8 going. It has a very eerie sound. The kids and the wife always think something weird is going on. So, Kevin, what kind of things do you like best about the hobby? Well,
first of all, I think this is so cool. My phone's exploding with family and friends, so thank all of you for watching, and I've been trying to answer them. I am actually listening and paying attention to everybody. I'm just answering the stuff on the email, and Jason's answering on the live chat, and we're just trying to keep everything going here. And as far as my favorite part of the hobby is it's pretty widespread. I've really enjoyed the opportunities that ham radio has afforded to me. Ham radio has a lot of offerings for a lot of different people. You just heard what Jason likes to do, and he really got into the HF, got into the different versions of the digital HF, and he's also on the local 2-meter 440 repeaters. And there's literally almost something for everybody. In my case, like I said earlier, I started when I was about 14 years old, and I primarily was doing a really bad CW because I'm not very good at it. And I got built up to get up to I got up to 17 words a minute. I never quite made it to 20, so I have old school general license, so I passed the 13 words per minute code, and I had a lot of fun with it. And then, but what really kind of got me was I like making stuff. I like making the antennas. I went through a phase of making ground plane type antennas, 2-meter 440. Like the ones that you would make out of a wire, just a basic quarter wave ground plane. Then I got interested. Well, how are they feeding the ones they call half wave? How are they doing the 5/8 wave? How do they make a beam? So I went through a period where I made all of those. I looked it up. I bought the ARRL handbook. I got the antenna book compendium, and some other ARRL antenna books that I don't remember which ones they are. And then they invented the internet. So the internet came along, and I was able to start looking up more and more information. And then I got really hooked on HF. I just thought it was just fun. But I like sideband. So I put up about a 45 foot telescopic pole, and then I started experimenting with different wire antennas. Had a lot of fun with the wire antennas, and then had multiple poles, multiple antennas. And then a friend of mine one time challenged me. He says, "Man, why don't you put up a loop?" I said, "Okay." So we put up approximately 1,000-foot horizontal loop, and we fed it with ladder line, and we goofed around with different ways to match it, and we won't get into that. But it was really fun. That'll go until I think one of my neighbors backed into one of the poles because I had big 6-inch or 8-inch by 6-inch pressure-treated post in the ground that was holding up a 42-foot mast. Well, someone backed into it and knocked it over. That was into my loop. And then after that, I got kind of hooked on test equipment. I kind of got.
Yes, he does.
I like the test equipment. So, and we'll share some of that with you in the future, like the antenna analyzers and many other things. So I wanted to make my own balance. The 1-to-1 current balance. 49-to-1 transformer for an in-fed half wavelength antenna, and that was really fun. And then then all these new radios started coming out. In the old days, we had radios that had a 1/4-inch connection to plug the mic in, and maybe there was 3 connections on it: a tip, a ring, and a sleeve. Audio, ground, and push to talk. Well, now we have the 8-pin round microphone. The Kenwood, the Alinco, and the ICOM, a lot of them did it. The nice metal ring, and then it came out with the RJ45. And I was like, well, I need to learn to make adapters, And then here comes Heil Electronics, and they started making all kinds of adapters. Well, several years ago, I had $8 a month to buy food and ham radio parts. So I was making my own adapters. And
But you know what they don't make?
What they don't make?
They don't make an adapter to take a standard microphone that has a XLR,
right,
and plug it into a mixer, and then give you a way to get that mixer into your radio.
Yeah.
Now they have ways for you to buy a microphone from them, and then plug an XLR right into the radio, an HF radio being. It gets a little bit trickier with your kind of 2-meter FMs.
Yeah, so we started making cables to do that. We're gonna. Jason already did a video about how he did his 991.
Yeah.
Yeah, his 991, which has an RJ45 type modular plug that he used. I believe he used shielded Cat 5e cable, and he broke it out, got his push to talk, got his audio, and then he used a matching transformer to isolate the radio to the mixer, and then he has multiple inputs. He has 2 microphones and his SDR receiver, his audio. Matter of fact, one of these days we're gonna have to do a live stream from his studio as well. And actually,
I don't have the internet.
You don't have the internet?
Not yet. I'll have to.
Wait, you don't have the internet. Oh wow! Oh look, I have to fix this. That's bothering me.
Oh.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, we'll figure that.
I have internet, but it's not fast enough.
Well, we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it here in the Ham Radio TV studio. We'll get the radio set up, and we'll show you guys how we did that.
So here's the video if you're curious. It's a generalize. It just kind of gives you a bit of an overview of what I did. It was kind of challenging because it was the first time I built a cable. Kevin came over, and I just grabbed the camera and recorded. And I tried my best to stay in frame as I was working on things. And because we were talking and figuring things out, there wasn't really any good audio to use. So then later I did more of a voiceover, if you will. And and so you can check out that video. And we're probably going to do more on that because I think that's really interesting. There's a lot of different radios, a lot of different connectors, and a lot of different ways, a lot of different configurations you can do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, if you decide you want to make an adapter cable, and you want to put it into your radio, whether it's an 8-pin round adapter or whether it's the 8-pin RJ45 type adapter, please be really careful what you hook the wires to. Make sure you know which direction is 1 through 8, whether it's going left to right or right to left. Look in your instruction manual, go online, double check it, and then check the continuity with your little continuity checker, your multimeter, before you hook it up. You can, I just need to tell everybody, you can damage your radio because there is 12 volts on some of those pins on different radios. There's 5 volts because some of those microphones require, now I say 5 volts, don't send me any hate mail because I know sometimes it's 8, sometimes it's 12. I don't know what radio you have. So we're just cautioning you when you start plugging stuff into your mic jack. And we'll get into that later. As a matter of fact, what I'd like to see is if somebody wants to hook something like that up, ask us, send us a text or an email or on the chat, say, hey, I'd like to do this, and we'll give us an opportunity to actually do something helpful for you, on a live stream sometime, show you what to do.
Yeah, because it was a lot of fun, and other things you can do with a mixer is you've got multiple channels in, and then you have multiple ways to take it out. The audio out being. So in other words, you could have multiple radios in your shack and just one microphone, and you could almost switch it. And we have some pretty cool ideas around that too. But
and we're gonna offer, eventually we're gonna offer you the components so you can buy the parts with a little schematic. We're not gonna get rich off you guys. We're just here to offer you opportunity to do it, have fun with the hobby, and to finish up on the question. That's what I like to do. I like to build stuff, fix stuff, and I also like to help other people build things and fix things because I get a lot of joy out of other people learning and being able to do things on their own. I think it's great.
All right. Ropin Jesse, I think that's how you say it. Regarding an inverted V-style antenna, can there be anything beneath wire on the ground? The inverted V, the antenna. For an example, a metal building. So I run an inverted V. I'll touch on it real quick, and then I'll kick it to you for the exact answer. But I run an inverted V off my chimney. The chimney is, I have a piece of conduit on the chimney. So I'm at around 33 feet up. And we're bone dry out here in Northern California, except for the winter months, and then the rain comes. And so this doesn't exactly answer your question, but what I was going to say is when it rains and the ground gets wet, I can see the impedance and the SWR change because the wire stays the same. It's a mono band. I have one I put up for 20 meters and I have another I put up for 40 meters. In other words, there's a pulley and I change out the inverted V. It's a pain, I know, but anyways. So the rain on the ground definitely makes a difference in your tuning and just how things were. And Kevin, for the question, something metal underneath an inverted V.
It'll mess you up. The reason is matter of fact, I want to give a little shout out to the DX Commander. We watched the majority of his stream today, and he was talking about verticals versus horizontal antennas, and he touched on this very subject about the height of your half-wave dipole above ground, and he did a really good example of that. But the bottom line is you got to get to about a half wavelength above ground or a little more for your dipole to give you the optimum performance. If your dipole is too low to the ground or too low to a metal building, it will affect it. And so if you could be out in an open, let's just say you could have an open field for an example, and there's nothing below you, nothing above you, and nothing on either side of your antenna within several hundred feet. So if you take for example, a 40-meter antenna, a half wavelength on the 40-meter antenna is about 66 feet, give or take 60 to 70 feet. Now, let's just assume that the ground, the RF ground that it affects the radiation of your antenna is exactly where your feet are at. Okay, and you raise the antenna up 30 feet. Well, that's only a quarter wavelength. So now the antenna is still not high enough. You want to get it high enough so it acts like it's in just a free space, and it'll operate better. How many of us can get that antenna up there that high? Not everybody. Not a lot of us. Most of us are putting our dipoles up, 25, 35, 40 feet, and we live with it. And if you do have a big metal building, 20 or 30 feet below your dipole antenna, and it's going to affect it, especially on 40 meters and even 20 meters if you're too close to it. So big metal building underneath your antenna, I think it's going to affect it. And the out in the free, clear, open, the better you can do that, the better it's going to be. And we know the reality of it is that sometimes that wire is 25 or 30 feet above the roof of your house, and the wire is going above your house, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, which is the case at my son's house. It's the case at Jason's house. It's not the case at mine. I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. I have a 55-foot freestanding tower, and at about 52 feet is where the feed point's at. So at 40 meters, at 20 meters, 40 meters, the thing behaves very good. 80 meters, it behaves quite good. It's not quite tall enough for 80 meters because our ground, I don't know, I'm not going to go into it because I really don't know that much about it, but the makeup of the ground here where I live, your RF ground is closer to the surface. We took the exact same antenna and put it in a big field in Vacaville where Jason lives, and we put it up at the same height, same cables, exact same test equipment, and it measured better. Now, did it perform better? I don't know.
Yeah, that can
we don't
depend
know.
a lot.
We don't know. The measurements were better, but I don't know if it performed better.
Yeah.
So if people are hearing you and you're hearing people, more power to you, brother.
And earlier he said DX Commander. If you're not familiar, he's another channel. Great dude.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with it, go check him out. He's across the pond, so he's got a great accent to listen to.
Yeah, and his last one explaining those antennas was very good. I just happened to see it, and you asked a question, so I thought I'd give you an opportunity to check it out.
All right, Corey wants to know, how come so many amateurs have such a real and true hatred towards CB operators? Ugh. I don't know. I mean, I guess some do, but none of us do.
We don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, I had one for years in a Jeep.
Yeah, and my first radio, when I was a kid, when I was, I think I was 12, I got my first CB, and I built a, of all things, and my dad let me build a quarter wave ground plane, a quarter wave antenna, and I fed it at the ground. I mean, the feed point was literally like 3 inches off the ground or something. I don't remember. And I had a pole, a wooden pole that went up, and an arm that came over, and it was a quarter wave length, and then I ran ground radials out trying to make this thing work. And it actually worked. So I started with CB radio. As a matter of fact, some of the new CB radios that are out now are pretty nice, and they sound good. They have great features, and I don't know why everybody hates them. Maybe because we had to take a test, and they don't. Maybe that's it. Maybe they think because they took a test, they're one better. Well, I look at it this way. If something tragic were to happen in your area, and people need communications, and you are an amateur radio operator in good standing, have your license and your equipment, and you're a nice person, and you volunteer to help in this bad situation, how many ham radio operators are there going to be, and how many more people are going to have a CB radio, probably, and possibility of maybe an FRS radio? So the CERT teams are going to have FRS radios. There's a lot of CB radio clubs out there. So why wouldn't the amateur radio community embrace the CB radio enough to own one, know how to use it, and just kind of get on the radio and promote good radio conduct and camaraderie, and befriend them. I don't know why we wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, when you find someone that doesn't like them, you can ask them, but we definitely don't have the answer. I mean, that's how I got started and discovered, four-wheeling. You get a CB to talk to your buddies four-wheeling. And I was up in the Rubicon here in Northern California. Someone got hurt. Our CBs weren't going anywhere. It was 2004 or 3, and cell phones weren't really all that. And a gentleman came up to us on the trail. He's coming through the trail. Essentially, there's only one path through it, and he had a ham radio, and that was a big eye opener for me. That's when the wheels started turning. Like, okay, and he was able to utilize a repeater to get a guy sitting in his house and pick up the phone. So,
yeah. I wanted to make one more comment. I've heard this said to me before, and I don't believe it. I have been told by some individuals that the CB radio people are nuts, or they're goofy, or they're weird. I know more people that own CB radios that are just exactly the opposite. They're RVers, they're four-wheelers, they're people that just take vacations and casual radio users. So to say that those people are that much different than hams is a misstatement, because I won't tell you when or where, but you can get on the amateur radio and find people that are weird, goofy, and saying things that they shouldn't be saying. So it goes both ways, guys. So let's just be good ham radio operators. Let's be good CB operators, and let's be good people and help each other. That's it.
FD Gunner also commented, your favorite part about ham radio is talking to me.
FD Gunner, that dude lives in Fort Worth, Texas. And he has a pretty big signal. And yes, I do like talking to him. By the way, I want to make a shout out to my Jenny. Jenny, I know you're watching.
You think she's still watching? It's been 53 minutes.
No, she texted me a few minutes ago. So she's watching, and she's laughing, and I love you, sweetie, and I'm really glad that you watched and gave me a text to let me know. So there's my shout out for my Jen. And FT Gunner, well, I'm building a bigger amp, buddy. It's going to be a while, but I'll be as loud as you someday.
All right, got the next question. Sandra in the chat. I'm guessing either she's about to buy or maybe just got the X5105. And I looked it up. I wasn't familiar with what that is, but then I saw the picture, and yeah, it's the Zenu, I think a lot of times that's referred to. And here is what I'm looking at on my screen. So this is a little QRP HF transmitter, great for doing summits, parks in the air, camping, just getting out there. I'm not overly familiar with this model, but I believe there is a lithium battery built right into it. So yeah, all you really need to do is hook up an antenna. And her question has to do with the coax. So she's wondering, what kind of coax. And one thing, I wanted to grab this picture we're looking at here. I try to make it bigger, but I click into it and it gets weird. Anyways, so I can clearly see this is a B and C connector. Mm-hmm. So Kevin, what are your thoughts on the style of coax to put into a B and C? And I'm gonna guess you're gonna also want to put it in a backpack.
Yeah. What I would do is, that's obviously a QRP type rig, portable. How many watts does it put out? Do we know?
I'm gonna say 5 or 10.
Maybe. What is her name? Did ask?
Sandra, I believe.
Sandra, you probably know more about the specs about that particular radio than I do. Why don't you put it in the chat? How much power does it have? I'm really curious. It's probably somewhere between 1 and 5 watts. But the answer to your question is a coax. Use the best coax that you can afford and that you can safely carry with the system. Because a low power QRP system, is just that. It's low power. So you want to get the maximum amount of energy transfer from that little BNC port to your antenna. So the shorter the run, the better. So if it's a very short run and you're on lower frequencies, below 30 megahertz, just going to stick an antenna up and it's only 15, 20 feet away for that particular application, I guess you could use RG58, but I wouldn't use that.
8X.
I would, yeah.
8X is pretty nice.
I wanted to say RG58 because it's a very popular cable. It is the lightest weight, cheapest stuff, highest loss that there is in the cable families. The RG8X or RG8 Mini is a much better choice, and you can get that cable with I think it's a 85 or 95% braided shield. It's got an 18 gauge stranded center conductor. Make sure you get the one with the stranded center conductor so it's flexible, so you can roll it and put it in your backpack. So I'd say RG8 Mini, RG8X.
Yeah, 5 watts. She commented
5 watts. Okay, thank you very much for that.
50 feet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because chances are you're probably gonna throw a wire in a tree, get a wire up somewhere, use something portable like a buddy pole, soda. Camille makes these little portable backpack deals.
Yeah. What we'll do, we're not prepared today, but what we'll do, we did it for our club. We'll get you get the coax chart and we'll throw it up on the screen, and you can look and see on the coax chart. Matter of fact, maybe we can do that while I'm jabbering on. Go on the internet and you just type in coax loss, and there's going to be a couple of places come up. And you go to that website, and there'll be a chart, and look up your RG8X or RG8 Mini, and you can see what the loss per 100 feet is in dB. And you'll find that below 30 megacycles, that stuff's really quite forgiving. So RG8X, RG8 Mini is probably the answer for your portable station for going out into the field days, camping, and things of that nature.
And coax can be confusing. There's a lot of details. It just seems like it's so much. You really just want to get you ready to work. But recently we've been actually touching on it quite a bit. This is on the channel, Ham Radio TV channel, and I actually built a playlist. I've been trying to keep things as organized as possible. So the playlist is called Coax, and there's kind of like a 3-part presentations that Kevin has put together, and if you watch them, I want to say you're going to leave with a pretty good understanding of how coax works. What exactly do you want to get or buy? Obviously there's always going to be the best, and then there's going to be the worst. Sometimes if you live in the middle, that's a great place to be. But so feel free to check out the playlist there to learn more about coax, because I mean I started recording these meetings so I could watch them again. So don't feel bad about learning coax. That's for sure. And
that's, again, that was that particular video at that meeting. I used the 2-meter band and the 440. I picked a simplex frequency at each one. And I did that on purpose because the 2-meter band will show some loss on the smaller cable. I didn't even do RG58 because it was so lossy at 50 and 100 feet. So we used 2-meter 440 on purpose to exaggerate the losses. So if you do choose to watch that, you'll see that there's a significant difference in loss between RG8X and a full-sized RG8 cable or something like an LMR 400 or a 214. With that in mind, your HF unit is much lower in frequency. So refer to the chart and you'll find that the losses at the lower frequencies are much, much less. And you can get away with a lot more with the RG8X down at the lower bands.
Yeah.
Especially with 5 watts. You don't have to worry about, by the way, on a resonant antenna installed properly, RG8X will handle legal limit. And I know it because we do it a lot.
Heck yeah. 00decibel22J asks, what gauge wire would you recommend for a dipole running 100 watt max? Stranded or solid? So he's running 100 watts.
That's a good question. 100 watts, you can use anything you want. I had a friend of mine that ran a kilowatt. He lived in a antenna restricted area, and he broke pretty much every rule for wire antennas because he had to, and he bought a commercial balun, and ran some good coax. I think he used LMR 400 type coax, and he went through his balun, his commercially made balun, fed his antenna, and I am not exaggerating. He used, I believe, 22 or 24 gauge magnet wire.
Wow, 24 gauge.
And he ran it, yeah. It might have been 24. It could have been 22. I don't remember.
So that's like telephone wire.
It's very
thin. If you ever look at telephone wire.
He ran it out. He made an 80-meter antenna and a 40-meter antenna off that feed point. And my friend Brian used that for years. And he ran legal limit into that thing all the time. The wire didn't burn up. But now keep in mind, this was a resident antenna, good coax, and he never exceeded about 800 or 900 watts, I think, maybe a kilowatt peak. And it was sideband. He did not do CW. So with that said, if you used a anywhere from a 12 gauge to a 18 gauge wire, and if you're solid or stranded, whatever you get your hands on, you're probably not going to be able to tell the difference. Now, if it was a portable antenna, I'd make it out of stranded wire. If it's a permanent antenna, solid wire. The only thing about solid wire is if you happen to have it in a tree or somewhere where it's subjected to stress, the solid wire might break. But if you don't have that problem, I wouldn't worry about it.
Now, what about skin effect? RF skin effect, solid to stranded.
You know, that's
splitting hairs.
Now we're splitting hairs. There is a. I don't have any personal experience noticing the difference on my transmit or my receive on resonant antennas, whether I used a 14 gauge stranded wire or a 14 gauge solid wire, and I've had it both, and I just couldn't tell. So and I have the test equipment to measure to make sure my coax is the proper length for the particular frequency I'm using. The antenna was resonant. I used really high quality balance, and right now I'm running 18 gauge solid wire, and I use it. I have a tri-band antenna. It's 80 meters, 40 meters, 20 meters, fed with one coax, and I monkeyed with the length of the coax. It was a compromise on the length. We can talk about that later, but I put full legal limit into that thing all day long, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been experimenting with wire myself. I currently run 14 gauge stranded, but I run almost a mini field day, as Frank in the club once told me, because I do put it on the chimney, I bring it down, sometimes it's down for a little bit, I put up another band, and so stranded allows me to kind of coil it back up a little bit, that you just have to take to start, stop, and then back to the video camera. Do you see the little video camera icon?
I'm not wearing my glasses.
Oh, you can't see. Stand by, we'll be right back after these messages. No, we don't have any.
Yeah, we don't have any messages. And I wasn't wearing my glasses, and the back of that thing was dark, and I couldn't see it.
All right, back online here. Yeah, so the really tiny stuff, I've broken tiny stuff, so I come to like 14 gauge stranded. Black seems to work the best, especially for my lovely wife. I like to think it somewhat disappears up there, you know, because I understand that is the name of the game. Sometimes is keeping your neighbors happy, keeping your loved ones happy with any hobby really that you might have. So we got the camera back. We can go here. All right. So he said thank you for the remarks we just did on the dipole wires.
Okay.
And he's talking about a 1-to-1 balun, meaning, you know, should he put a 1-to-1 balun on a inverted V? I'm guessing an inverted V since it's the same gentleman.
Yeah, I do. I recommend that because your inverted V antenna is a balanced antenna, and you're hooking it to a coax, which is unbalanced, and you put your and we'll do some more discussion and demonstration on that later on in the future. But yes, a good 1-to-1 balun is a good thing to have. You put it on there, and it helps match your feed line to the antenna, and especially if you're operating on a resonant antenna. I like resonant antennas. I'm not against having the multi-band antenna where one antenna does it all, but I like resonant antennas, so I run a 80 meter, 40 meter, and 20 meter off the same one-to-one current balun, and my current balun is actually a type 31 core, ferrite core, and it's wound with high temperature Teflon wire, and it's in a box, and it has a very good isolation and has a great common mode. Common mode is the higher that number, the better it is. It helps keep the energy from coming back down the shield of the coax. And we'll show you how I have kind of a poor man's version of how to measure the common mode on a balun, and we'll do that live someday.
Yeah.
And show you that's kind of now that we got our new cool switcher, we can take the output of the analyzer, plug it in there, and you can see it. And then, oh, you know what we could do? We can do this. Go back to that. Now push the PIP button up there in the corner, and now pick one. Just push another camera. See, we can do that now, whereas before we couldn't do that. So
all sorts of buttons and toys to play.
Yeah.
I think really that's why we're in the hobby.
Yeah,
we just want to like push buttons and knobs.
We're really not in it for you folks. We're in it because we like to play with
cameras.
We like to be on the camera. We like to play with it. We like to buy cameras, and hook them up and put them into switchers. Anyways.
Yeah, and to make a joke, in school when you ask a question to your teacher, mm-hmm. and your teacher says, "You obviously haven't been paying attention."
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm not saying that by any means, but I do just want to remind people, if you're new to the channel, you haven't watched all of our stuff, I recommend this video here, Dipoles and Feed Lines and Baluns, oh my, if you get the reference. And so this video touches on tying the whole antenna system together, the baluns and the dipoles, and I mean, we love the inverted V. So, check that one out. Feel free to go through the library. But, we'll answer your questions, not a problem. But our answers right now might not it might not satisfy you fully because we're not set up to show you. And some of the stuff it works best to show.
Yeah, and I think too is if you watch the videos, none of that stuff is secret squirrel or rocket science. It's all, you can find it in the ARRL handbook, or one of the antenna manuals or compendiums, which I mentioned earlier. You can find it. There's a lot of different people on the internet to show you how to make wire antennas. I just like wire antennas for HF because they're very cost effective. They work quite well, and they're not hard to build. They're just not. Almost anybody can build it.
Yeah.
And if you make a mistake, so what? Lower the pulley and the rope and figure it out and do it again. And what's neat about it is, for the most part, you can make that stuff out of pretty much household scraps. You can make your insulators out of something that's cheap, PVC pipe,
yeah.
old PVC pipe. I saw a guy in our club. He took the plastic lids off of I don't have one here off my water bottle, but a big plastic lid, and that's what he used for his insulators because he had them laying around. And guess what? He won the 40-meter shootout 2 years ago at
Quartz Fest?
Quartz Fest. Yeah, with one of his homemade antennas that he used plastic parts out of the trash can. So it's just for fun. And like Jason pointed out, that feedline video, that's the one I alluded to earlier, that if you're going to take the time to cut your own coax, put your own ends on, I said that wrong, put your own ends on, and if you choose to make your own balun, that's a little more complicated or not, do what we suggested and it'll work. A lot of people just whack off 100 feet of coax, stick it on there, and guess what? It'll work. It'll work. So don't feel like you're not in the club if you didn't cut your coax to the half wavelength.
Oh,
it still works.
Oh yeah.
There's just a couple of reasons why you might want to if you're starting from scratch anyways.
Yeah, and I mean, you are sometimes at the mercy of the ionosphere, the earth, whatever else might be going on.
Band conditions.
But imagine if you had a perfect system. I think your chances would always be greater than having an okay system and it working, you know, once in a while.
You know, I strive and I try to achieve okay.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You know, perfect. I'm never going to get to that. I try to achieve okay. Anyways.
All right.
Yep.
So this question, I think it's going to stump us. We might have to call Brian.
We may have to call. Yeah, are you going to ask a really? I mean, I'm going to. Let me guess. Is this a for us anyways?
Yeah.
A complicated fusion question?
Yes. Yes, it is. But it's our fault because look what's on the wrong button. Look what's on the table. Yeah, I know.
Does this radio say? Oh, it does. It says.
Yeah.
C4 FM. Here, let me cover it up. There we go.
There we go.
It's only FM now.
All right. So AMX says, "Hello, I am taking my ham test on August 6th. Well, that's pretty awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. Good luck.
Congratulations.
You'll do fine. Take those practice tests. No problem at all. And he was wondering, when you connect a wires repeater, and so this is going to be a Yaesu Fusion wires repeater.
Yes.
If you connect to it and join a room, are you tying up that repeater, or can others connect as well? And I know I've heard this answer before, but so we don't know for sure.
I'm not going to answer it because Brian, oh geez, is called KK6
BXP.
KK6 BXP. Yeah, Brian. Our club owns a fusion repeater. I tuned the duplexers, installed the antenna. Brian did all the configuration to it, and I don't know the limitations on the digital side of it. It's kind of been a grassroots explosion here in our area. One day there was 2 people with Yaesu fusion radios, and now there's like, I don't know. I'll bet you there's over 20 of them in our club alone. And our club bought the fusion repeater, and it's in test mode on a test pair right now, and we're working on getting it linked to the analog system.
I'd love to get some hats or shirts from Yaesu.
Yeah. You know what we're gonna do? This is what we're gonna do.
Because we bought so many.
What's this person's name that asked a question?
AMX.
AMX. Huh. Yeah, like the AMX remote control systems. Is that what it is? Anyways, like Extron, AMX, Crestron, that kind of stuff. Just curious. Anyways, we're going to invite Brian here someday.
Yeah, that'd be good.
We are going to buy Brian a burrito and have him come here after. We'll give him the burrito afterwards.
Yeah.
Anyways, and get him on here, and you guys can ask this dude all the fusion questions you want. Yes, I know you can have multiple people in the chat rooms. You can have multiple users on the repeater. The answer to all that is yes. How many you can and how many connections you can do on that particular repeater, I don't know.
Now, this came up in a meeting, okay?
Yeah, it did.
And I'm pretty sure we captured it. So a lot of times when I'm capturing the videos at the meetings, I'm sometimes messing around with settings, making sure audio is good, and I miss some of it. And then my chance to hear all of it is when I edit it, because then I try to cut some things out, shorten it up a little bit. But that said, there's 2 videos. The first one this year, Wires X, Yaesu Wires X, how to set up. This is our man Brian. Check out this video. I think it has your answer. I really do. I can't remember it. It was shot 3 months ago.
Yeah, I think
so many
you're right.
things are zipping by. And if you're completely new, or I mean fairly new to digital and all of that, Brian also did another presentation that I thought he did a really great job with. Is down here is Intro to Ham Radio Digital Mode. And there he went over all the modes, you know, where when you talk about fusion and you talk about the rooms, that's all Yaesu talk. So you can check that out. He even has a bunch of really cool sound bites that I was able to get into the video. For instance, you know, he touched on the Russian woodpecker. I'm fairly new and young, and I didn't know what that was, and I never really heard it on the air. But what's interesting about the Russian woodpecker antenna array is I've seen it in a movie. It's I forget what the movie's called, but it's where they're in these different groups depending on how you take a test. I can't remember. This.
That's okay.
Maybe I'll come back to it. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll bring Brian the man here.
Yeah.
And help us out. But the reality of it is, I'm one of the 2 or 3 people that help keep our system running. I take care of 2 out of 3 of the repeaters, one of which is linked to the main repeater, and I kind of left the chat room, the digital stuff, to Brian, because it's ham radio is so much fun. It's a hobby, and we're having to be completely honest with you, it's hard to come up with enough time to do all the stuff that we want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we want to do and want to share. So I think that was a really long-winded answer for, we don't have a good answer for you.
Yeah.
We know it works.
We definitely talk a lot.
We know there's multiple connections, but we don't know how many.
I'll switch to, I pulled up the images. So this is what the crazy Russian woodpecker looks like. And I think that's more of like a slang term. And let me know what movie you've seen this in, because it's a pretty good, there's like 2 or 3 movies. But, yeah, crazy looking antenna array. I mean, it looks like, I think in the movie they use it as a wall. So throw in the comments down below if you know what movie I'm trying to think of. Sometimes it's hard to say it on the spot. Yeah, 7.3 AMX car. AMX as in the car.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
See, I'm an AV guy, so when you said AMX, I went, AMX control systems. Sorry. The cars are cooler.
All right, so, man, it's been an hour and 18 minutes. How about that?
Wow.
And right now I don't have any more pending questions. So
okay.
So then let's open it up. What we're going to do next is we're going to open this up. We actually have enough of the bits and pieces we need to plug it in. We have the antenna, and we're gonna try to make it work in front of you.
Yeah.
But don't make fun of us, because
don't make fun of us.
Typically when I do an unboxing, I do editing and I cut out parts.
Yeah,
but it sounded fun.
He cuts out all my mistakes, is what he does. Yeah, and thank you for doing that, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move a couple of other props out of the way.
And I'm gonna do this, so they can see the overhead shot, and then they can see us making faces.
See us making faces like, holy cow! All right.
Oh.
So what we can do, anyway. So here we go. Tell you what, Jason, why don't you do this, and then I'm gonna help hook you open it up, and I'll help you hook it up.
Oh, okay, sure.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think that's a good thing to do.
I like opening stuff. Yesterday he gave me a new computer screen to open for this setup.
Oh yeah.
Let me move this here. Hopefully that's still working.
One of these days we'll get our studio set up so that we can actually have a what do you call it, a mobile cam or a variable cam or something.
Oh, I opened it upside down.
Oh, that's okay. It happens. So just so y'all know, this is the first time we've opened this box. It's still in the plastic wrapper. It's never had power to it, so we're going to be doing all this together. I'm just looking. We're going to be doing this together.
Alrighty. So the 400 is a fantastic radio. It does have a decent sticker price to it, but the display on it, if you haven't seen it, is really nice, and it'll do crossband repeat. In other words, you can have 2 completely different radio frequencies up, and you're able to listen to them, which is really cool. I have the 8900 in my car, and a lot of times when commuting, I'll always listen to our local repeater. You know, I'll throw my call out, it might be quiet, and then I'll go to some other repeaters or some other simplexes, and it allows me to drive. I drive an hour each way. It allows me to listen to one set of frequencies while using another set of frequencies. So, you know, having dual VFOs is very cool. I know this radio also does crossband repeat, so that means you pretty much could set up a mini repeater right out of your car, and go into your place of work, go out on a hike. You could have your Bofang or a nice HT, and you could get it back to your car, and then your car, being this guy is 50 watts, could definitely get it wherever you might need to go, whether it's another repeater or maybe you're trying to keep in touch simplex. Also could be used for any kind of emergency, where sometimes you're going to go out and look for someone or something, and you could have a team of people out there and use, actually I should say, we do that. We do a tree lighting every year downtown Vacaville, and we set up a crossband repeat in the command center, in the EOC, where you've got the fire and the police, and then all of us hams are out there with our HTs, and primarily we're acting as additional eyes for all the police and lost kids. That's what we do the most. I think we average about 4 kids a year we help find, and we find them first, because we'll be 25, 30 in the crowd, and the call will come out for a lost kid because the parents just got in touch with police, and the police relayed it to us, and boom, we have the kid. So it's pretty remarkable how fast you can track down a lost kid when you have a bunch of people looking for him, and everyone gets the same message at the same time, because we're on a radio, not a cell phone. Imagine calling 30 people.
Yeah. Well, we're getting this thing kind of unpacked, and as you can see, I'm going to put this up here. So the larger piece is the RF deck, and as you can see, it's pretty small. And on the back, it's got your cooling fan, which is also thermally controlled. I happen to know a little bit about them. They're thermally controlled. This is your RF port. This particular radio only has 1 antenna port. You know, some radios have 2, a UHF and a VHF. This has 1. This is your power connector. This connector here, let me see if I can get a good shot of that. Decent, yeah, right there. That one is a your accessory connector, and then this one here is your audio, which is your speaker connector. And once we get this thing going, we'll do an auxiliary speaker. I did, just so for those of you old school guys, look at this. Hoo hoo hoo.
I don't know if something happened. Currently, I've got a spinning wheel progress bar, so hopefully our video is still up. As far as I can tell, it is. So we'll just press on. It doesn't say live. Oh, somehow I must have bumped something. Okay. New to this. We're still new to this. Alrighty. Yeah, you get a lot of bits and pieces in this. There's a cable here that I just unwrapped. And I mean, a lot of times you don't get cables in radios, so a little bit of a higher price for this 400. But here is the cable you would plug in the back of the radio, and then this is going to be your USB connector. And that's great, because that'll give you an opportunity to program it, as well as you can take this radio and plug it into your computer and then connect to the wire's rooms. And because this has the crossband repeat functionality, you could almost build your own way into rooms utilizing this. So people would then kind of come through this and what have you. There might be more to it than that, but that's very, that's just very general.
What's this extra plug for here? I don't even know.
What does it look like?
It's an 1/8 inch jack. Goes in the speaker plug. Hey, see, there you go.
Wow.
I'm not sure. Here's the bracket. It comes with the mounting bracket for the main RF deck right here. It also comes with a mounting bracket. I'll pull it out so you can see it. We're gonna put these off to the side here in a minute, but I wanted you to know they come with it. Here's double sticky tape for those of you who don't want to use the screw hole here and screw it to your dash or something. Here's a way that you can put double sticky tape on it and just stick it to the something in your car. But that's kind of cute. They give you double stick. I think Kenwood does that too.
So, Kevin, I'm guessing Kevin asked why we have essentially a headphone jack extender here. I should probably take it out of the wrapping so you can see it better. But I think this is, you know, depending what you're plugging in, you don't have a lot of room here. It's kind of tight and a little recessed. So they might be giving this to you, because see how this recessed neck?
Well, we had to look it up. It's a stereo connection too. Is it?
Yeah,
no.
So this is the back
TRS
for an external speaker.
I'll bet you it allows you to, We'll look at the instructions. When you're pulling that apart,
Are you gonna pull the plastic off?
Yeah, you can.
Well, it's your radio.
It's my radio. Okay, here we go. Dun 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 dun. I don't know why I'm playing Rocky music, but
hey, that's what came to your mind. I mean,
So
that's one of the best parts, getting a new radio.
yeah, getting a new radio. We're gonna. So what we're gonna do, as you can see right here, this is a Yaesu power plug that's going to. Hey, can you click us onto the wide view just real quick?
Oh.
Oh, just you're already there. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, go ahead. You had it right. So right over here, I got the power supply, and this is already hooked up to the power supply. It's already tested, and here is the antenna connection that's already tested. So we didn't think we needed to unbox the power cable because we have one, and it's already hooked up.
A lot of stuff.
All right.
Yeah. So let's just talk real quick. Should we do the overhead?
Sure.
So it comes with
do the PEP with the other one if you want.
Comes 2 fuses. I guess in case you mess up.
Well, actually, no. You know what?
Is there 2 fuses
there's
in there?
2 fuses.
Ah.
Most of your amateur radio equipment, it has a ground fuse and a hot fuse. So the red and the black wire both get a fuse. So they give you 2. So they give you 2 fuses.
And lots of mounting hardware. Lots of options there.
Yep.
We have some covers. If I guess if you're not going to put your mount on, you would. I don't know what this is.
Oh, these are gaskets.
Gaskets.
Yeah, these are gaskets.
Oh.
So we're not going to lose it. We'll put off these to the side.
Do you ever use these?
I do. I actually, in my vehicle, I have a little pedestal, but I'm a little weirder than some. Now, there's a lot of people out there that have me beat, but I have 6 radios in my vehicle.
Yes.
So and I have a pedestal that has 4 out of the 6 microphones are on this little stand where I have microphone 1, 2, 3, and 4, and yeah, I use those for it, but that's just me. So what's that?
So it looks like, you know, this here face unit, it never can attach, where the 8900 I have, it does attach or remote. And we have
Gotcha.
a control and a mic and a data. Is that a micro SD card?
I think it is. Yeah. This radio, there's a micro SD card. You can go into it and you can program it with the SD card. What we'll probably do is one of these days we'll invite Bob KM6BXZ. He's got one of these radios, and he is our county radio officer for the Department of Emergency Services, and they use the 8900s, and he also has one of these as well in their arsenal, and he has all the programming stuff, as well as Brian. So after today's box opening, we'll get we'll do a guest, and the guest will know way more about the radios than we do. But here, right here, is your mic jack, where is your microphone plugs into. And you know, the only thing that I don't like about this,
I know what you're going to say. There's no mic jack on this.
There's no mic jack on the head.
Yeah. But now, one thing I saw, it's got this little hump on it where it actually says GPS. I don't know if that comes out in the camera or not, but that reminds me of the functionality this does have with APRS, being it will relay your location via website, and very useful if you're doing search and rescue or you just want to keep tabs of somebody or somewhere. And then utilizing the Fusion system, it will also call out how far away the person is you're talking to, because it knows their location.
Now this remote cable that comes with it, you can see it's a reasonably good length. This table is 30 inches wide, so there's 30, you know, and there's about 60, about 120. So it's about 180 inches. We'll look it up, get the exact number, but this is typically long enough to get from your super cool control head to your super cool RF deck, which just plugs in. And this looks like it It's just a 4-conductor mini RJ45. Did I say 4-conductor? I mean, that's just wrong. Yeah, don't email me. Don't. I did say it wrong. It's a 4-conductor modular plug. It's very small. Yaesu does make replacements, and you can repair these. I have a Kenwood in my van that has the 6-conductor version, and it's gone bad.
Really?
Yeah, on my I have a Kenwood TS480. It's a really cool radio as well. Maybe we'll do a video on that someday. It's HF through 6 meters. Anyways, I think we're really close to.
Should we zoom into the screen?
What? Only if we stood up there and did it. So we'll just have to get it. Actually, let's turn it on and see what it does.
Well, I know, but I was going to zoom into the screen.
Well, why don't we use that camera over there? And I'll hold it up for him.
Oh, yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Because you'd have to get up on the chair to do that. That's not remote control.
Well, I can. Do you care if I stand on your chair?
No. I don't care. I'm gonna apply power to it.
Oh, wait. I can't. Oh, that's delayed. I'm pushing it, but I can't see it because it's delayed.
Yeah.
I have to know what my splitter's doing.
I know. Just go ahead and push it and see what it does.
Okay.
Where you're at.
Go here.
Oh, man. Look at that. And you hit right on the target. There's the display.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, that's good.
All right. And you can go back to the PEP.
Yep.
Put us back on number 1. There we go. And we can go up like that so y'all can see the display a little bit better. And here's the RF deck. So we're going to have a visitor here in the shack any second. I can just feel it. Maybe not. This is not a shack. It's a studio. All right. So I got the power connected, the antenna connected. So
give us some power.
We should have power. And so we... Well, that's a lock. Jeez. I guess I should have looked to see how we turn it on, huh? I never even looked to see how to turn the silly thing on.
Okay, well, so I have a Yaesu. Not saying I'm the expert here, but I'm gonna hold, I think, a volume button.
Wait a second.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
You know what the problem was?
Nope. Oh no, there's a button right there.
No. The problem was, here, let me show them. You have to connect the power lead. See, that's what has to happen.
That's why they call us amateurs.
Yeah, it has to connect the power lead. All right. So red goes to red, right? And the Anderson power poles, you can't do them backwards anyways. So now we should have power.
Oh, okay, yeah, so there's a power button. I wasn't even looking close.
Ooh.
Please enter your call sign.
Ooh.
And it's a touch screen.
All right, let's go ahead and do it. So please enter the call sign in number 6. Go back. Keep in mind, this is the first time I've ever touched this radio. And it probably shows.
I was waiting for that.
All right. Okay. Jason's going to have to help me. Enter. There it is. So we have the brand new radio. Oh, look at that. And we're in VFO mode. And we are on the 2 meter band. And then we have a 2 meter adjustment dial here, which is kind of cool. You know what's really neat about this thing is it's a true dual band radio. You have a volume control for 2 meters, and you have a volume control for 440, and you have a dial that can adjust your VFO or your memory channel. So I'm not going to put anything in the memory channel at the moment. But let's see if we can't figure out how to put our put a repeater into it. How about 145470? If we do that, I'll just turn the knob. I'm sure we can go into megahertz if we wanted to. 145470. Look at that. Listen to that.
I like the green light that's illuminating when it's picking up signal.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know if you want that repeater.
Yeah.
We can't edit.
Yeah, we can't edit those guys out. All right. So there's that repeater. So now we got to get into the that's cool.
Tilted a little less.
Oh, tilted a little less?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. All right. See, I really don't know how to use a thing.
Can I push buttons?
You can push buttons.
Okay.
Go ahead. He knows more about it than I do.
In the Air Force, they called me Tommy Toggle. They said, "Kid, stop pushing all those buttons in the airplane."
There we go, the function. So now we want to go.
Yeah.
Then we go to the offset, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that was the function. So let's go to this one here. And I'm guessing it's a long press. There we go. So long press gets you into setup. I own a couple Yaesus, so it is nice that once you start collecting the same type of radio, it'll help you a little bit. So transmit and receive. So we're gonna do FM.
Yep.
Or we'll just go auto.
Yep.
And then
now we got to get into the repeater setup.
Doesn't that's interesting. Memory, GM, data, signal.
No, that's your tone coded squelch.
So yeah, we need to change that.
Yeah, we want it to 127.3. You have to turn your encoder dial. There it is. There it is.
There. And
Yeah.
we're not using DCS.
No, but that's tone coded squelch. So what we want to do is you don't want tone coded squelch. You want the
Tone squelch
PO.
frequency.
You want the transmit PO. Tone coded squelch is receive PO, which will work on our repeater.
We might have to read the book. Anybody own this radio?
No. Go back to where you're at.
So signal.
Go back to signal. Okay. Now let's see. And let's see. One of these knobs will get you into. That's your frequency. Oh, let's keep going here. There it is.
Ah, you had to go down. It wasn't apparent that there was down.
Yeah. Tone squelch frequency. 120 DCS. Memory page code. Okay. But what there is you can do your DCS code. You want to put that off. Turn DCS code off.
Think that's an option?
I hope so. We don't need it. Oh, okay. Whatever.
All right, I'm just gonna go back. Memory, display, GM, data. We should have called Brian.
See, we really didn't open the box before this. We didn't do it.
DW.
No.
Scan, squelch, mute, scope. We're in VFO. Noise.
Keep
See,
going.
I wish there was buttons here that would allow me to get in
Well,
there.
keep going.
Sam reverse. These are just kind of like things you would want to get real quick when you're using the radio.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So here we're at our kind of main page, and we have a lock and power and display.
Mm-hmm.
And you push that once, and it goes to like a compass.
Yeah.
Probably have to calibrate it.
Yeah.
And I don't think GM is going to be. That's going to be if we're doing GM stuff.
Yeah.
And this one here, that switches between your modes. So if you want to utilize your digital or your analog, that's digital.
There's FM.
There's FM. That's what we want. So, oh, you know what? I haven't long pressed this one. Let me try that.
That's memory.
Yeah, that's memory.
Yeah.
Oh, MW memory. So you're able to.
Channel 2 right there. That's 145470 minus 600 in a tone. So that's right. We just have to get the tone right. Question is, push the button. So is it?
So we got our offset in there.
Yeah, but we don't have the tone right. It's the transmit tone has to be right.
So then I would assume that you have to go into setup.
Yeah.
I was seeing if there's other options.
No. No. I need to leave all that alone at the moment. Go back to signaling.
Yeah, it does have a lot of options.
And we got to find out what our
well, we'll leave it there for now.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other videos out there.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing. We opened the box and we didn't read the instructions.
No.
Actually, we could actually. There's an instruction book right here. We could actually look it up if one wanted to.
I'm starting to smell food.
Yeah, I think somebody's barbecuing out there, and I think that we're getting invited to the barbecue, and I think that's pretty cool.
Well, maybe we'll have a follow up on this radio. It'd be good to get Brian to talk about it. He's had it for a while. He's got a couple of them actually. But yeah, really great radio. It's surprisingly light. It feels good. I forget what it goes for, but if you can find it on sale, it's really cool to have a display that big.
It's very cool to have this.
Especially when you get a...
Oh.
You need glasses. All right, there was a question.
I just fixed it.
Oh, why did you do that? He got it. Oh, we need the camera. You got to put it on the tape.
There it is. Oh, we had the PL set right. You have to go into this menu. Your squelch. We hit the squelch on here. There's transmit, receive, squelch. And you hit it again. There's reverse, digital. You see the D for digital. Program, and then in pager.
So when we went through it, it said noise.
Noise, and right now it's transmit TX. And then we put 127.3. There it is. So now we got it working. We had it right the first time. We just didn't turn it on.
So you want to turn up the volume a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Let's see if somebody can hear somebody.
This is KM6FAK looking for a radio check. And we are live on YouTube right now.
Yeah, we just went on our local repeater, and there's like normally chatter all the time, and now that we're on the channel, nobody's going to answer.
And we're guessing it went out because we're hearing the kerchunk.
No, we know it went out. I'm positive it went out. Matter of fact, grab this. There's an HT right here. We can hear it come back on the 440. Here, I'll answer you. Go ahead, key it. Yeah, it's working perfect.
All right. Okay, so yeah, I guess, it's a little bit more straightforward in my 8900, but there is a button right there, and that was the the display button. Oh no, that was the function button, I think they call it. Brought up those menus.
Yeah, I use the function button, and there was somebody there.
Got a beam of light coming on me.
So there we got the four. There's a now you just touch the screen. You're in the 440.
Oh.
And now you can go in here and you can hit it and you can do all the same thing we just did. So, but I'm not going to program a 440 channel in it. But it's pretty straightforward. It took a couple minutes and we didn't even have to use the instructions. And it's kind of cool. And if you want to, you can plug an external speaker into the back of it, right here, and remote that. So you can put this underneath your. You can put your RF deck underneath your seat or somewhere where it's safe and sound. You can remote it into it. But what I really like about this radio is the size of this display. I mean, let me give you something to compare. This is my Samsung. This is my S5, my old S5 phone, and that's how big it is. Okay.
We need to zoom out.
Yeah, we need to zoom out. That's okay. That's a pretty good sized. Yeah, here, hold it up like this. So there's the control head, and here's the phone. I mean, it's a pretty good sized control head. So, and the characters on it, we can go back up to the other camera. The characters on here are nice and big, and the audio quality on this thing is really quite superb. So, anyways, we did a quick box opening. We fumbled through it. We got it to bring up a repeater, and nobody's listening. Is anybody listening? This is N6VLF. We're live on YouTube. We did a box opening. Was kind of hoping that somebody come back on the radio. Be nice to us. Holy cow, that's funny. Normally,
Maybe they don't. Maybe they have mic fright
I know
for
what
the
it
internet.
is. They're all watching the
they're
channel.
watching,
All 8
yeah.
of them are watching the channel.
Yeah, 8.
Everybody's watching the channel.
So I want to get to a few questions and then
Sure.
and then we can have some chow.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, well, let's see. I won't say the name. I'll see if you can guess who this is.
Okay.
It says, it's going to give it away. Someone is looking for a microphone for her growing YouTube channel. Are the on-camera ones just garbage, or what is your suggestion? And she starts off with saying, "Hey, Dad." So it's Stina.
Stina?
Stina.
Stina. Hey, Stina.
I haven't met her in person yet. So.
Yeah, that's Jeffrey's wife.
Yes.
Yeah,
Fully aware of
that's
that.
the Fort Worth connection. Yeah. You're asking if the microphones we're using are? Did she actually ask if the microphone was used or just junk?
No, I think no. The idea is starting a YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
The on camera, so I have like a Rode shotgun that slides on to the hot shoe and it plugs in.
All right. Okay. So, the easiest thing to do is, I keep forgetting. I call it the Obi-Wan Kenobi software. Is it OB2? What the software we're using for the streaming?
Well, I think this is just going to be capturing a video on a camera.
But she wants the microphone, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was for. I misunderstood.
Oh yeah, it's not for the streaming.
It's not for streaming.
It's for just like because an average YouTuber will take a camera.
Yeah.
And
gotcha.
point it at themselves or point it at whatever their project might be.
Yeah, you want either Audio Technica makes one, Sennheiser makes one, Rode makes one,
Shure
makes one.
Yeah.
And we're dealers for all of them. And what it is, it's a wireless receiver that hooks to your camera, and it's made to hook into it. It's battery operated. It plugs into the microphone jack on the camera, and then there's a wireless transmitter, and you can use a lapel microphone on it. You can use a head-worn microphone on it. The standard kit comes with a lapel microphone. So that's the easiest way to do it. You can get, holy cow, easy 50 to 100 feet out of those things.
Yeah,
Easy.
and one thing, because I've definitely been experimenting a bit myself. Those shotgun mics, they're about $100, $150. They work great, but you got to stay no more than 10 feet away from the person that's talking. And if you're outside and it's windy, it's going to be even more tough. For instance, if you go back and watch some of the original videos, that's all I had to record a meeting. And the meeting was in a large room, 30 by 20 room. Mm-hmm. And all you heard was the echoing and people coughing and sneezing. So, if it's going to be close to your face, you could probably do great with it. But if it's going to be something you're at distance, maybe a lapel or something.
Yeah, and another thing too, what we did is if you go and can you bring up one of the videos we did for we interviewed the guys at Pacificon, and the interviewing that we did at Pacificon, we did not have a wireless microphone. We took a very cost-effective handheld condenser microphone and put a cable, and we made an adapter that goes into your standard 1/8" stereo mic jack on your camera, and that's how we did the interviews. So that's one way of doing it if you're going to do interview style. But if you want to do photos or videos of like a wedding and you need the minister mic or the bride or the groom mic, you need the wireless microphone.
Yeah, so let's see if the audio is going to play.
So we're here with Chris from a buddy pull. Yeah. So Chris, what we want to ask you is, first of all, we can talk, that's us. What is a buddy pull, and how does it differ from, let's say, the different vendors? And that's just a really inexpensive microphone that we put up over into the unit.
Yeah, and we actually plugged it. You made it a microphone to plug right into the jack of the camera.
It works really good when you operating a camera off batteries. But sometimes when you use a power supply, the little switching power supplies, I don't know why on some cameras it makes it pick up noise, but when we use the battery pack, it worked perfect.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of Rode or Shure, you know, and I'm sure you should you should text your dad. He'll help you out with more information.
Yeah, sweetie, give me a call. We'll help you.
Give him a call.
You didn't have to wait till we had a YouTube channel. But thanks, that's cool.
So Corey asks, why do you think Alinco is such a non-contender in amateur radio world? It's almost like they don't care.
Alinco doesn't care?
I don't know. I mean, that's true. I don't know. I think you or Bruce might have an Alinco.
I have Alinco. Bruce has an Alinco. I know a lot of people that have Alincos.
But you guys have been in the game a long time.
Yeah, my Alinco is over 30 years old, and it still works. It still works pretty good. And Bruce, his Alinco is still working, and I don't know. I mean, they have some new radios that are pretty cool. They got some pretty cool HTs and some dual bands. So I don't know. Hey, you want to come in and say hi? Okay. All right, we're still live. This is.
I think we should be done.
We should be done.
It's almost 2 hours.
Yeah, but people are still watching.
There is some still watching.
Thank you.
They're probably all related to us.
We'll be done in a few minutes.
2 minutes right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, we're done. There's no more questions.
No more questions.
We played with our toys. As a matter of fact.
Yep.
We're coming up on 2 hours, so we've done good. I'm guessing everything held in there.
Yeah. If somebody could give us a real quick chat, did the video hang in there the whole time that you were watching?
Because you don't want to know how many times we were doing this.
Yeah. We've tried to keep the audio and the video in sync. Try to keep the upload on the internet as best as we could get it, and we just want to make sure that you guys got the video stream, because when we get into the next ham radio TV stuff, we'll be a little more organized, and we're still going to be casual, but we want to make sure that the streaming software and our connection is good.
Corey's got one more.
Okay.
What can I use to check a common mode current on my transmission line?
That's easy. Go. MFJ makes a current meter, RF current meter with a clamp, and they make a couple different versions of it, and they're reasonably calibrated. They're reasonably priced, and it's a great little device. And matter of fact,
do you know what it looks like?
That's it right there.
This guy?
Yeah, that's it.
That's a terrible picture.
We're going to put a picture up there. That is one of the RF current meters that's currently available from MFJ. They are not the only one that makes one. That's a different model of one. And the
model number, if you can't see, is an MFJ 854 RF current meter.
Right. And, and if you wanted to, you can make one. It's a little harder to do. But if you just want it to work, that's a pretty cost-effective way of doing it. And there's a couple of guys on YouTube that have a demonstration of measuring RF current on the wire. And I think Steve Ellington is a good one to take a look at.
Yeah.
He does the in-fed half wavelength antenna series, and he uses, I don't know if it's that exact one, but it's a really good demonstration of the usefulness of that meter.
Yeah.
Or that type of meter.
All right, well, we were told to bring Brian next time.
Who told us that?
AMX.
AMX, bring Brian.
Bring Brian next time.
That's okay.
Yeah. No, that's good. We actually have a, I think we mentioned it, we have a Yaesu fusion repeater.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more we want to do with it, and that'd be cool to capture that as well on video.
You know, we just wanted to unbox something, and we wanted to test a new channel and the streaming gear, and this is a great radio, and we literally opened it today.
Yeah. So with that, I think we should sign off.
We're gonna say thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. 7-3 as always. My name is Jason, KM6FAK, and
Kevin, N6VLF.
And we'll see you around. We'll see you on the channel. Feel free to leave a comment, ask questions, follow along on all of our shenanigans. And I'm gonna push this button.
Good night.
And we'll see how long it takes for it to cut. Because I think there's a delay. So what was funny is we were dropping down to like 8 or so as we were signing off, and that question came in, and then it started ramping up to like 13.
Mm-hmm.
And so see, it still says live. Oh, we are still live. Are you sure I forgot to say yes. Yes, I'm sure I want to quit the stream. See ya.